welcome back, Rankers. How you going? Listen, we've been doing this show for 13 years, so if you haven't subscribed, maybe now's the time. And if you get any value out of this at all, please share it with your friends and wherever you want to share it. That'd be awesome. Thank you. I want to talk to you a little bit about last week's show because one of our clients, he messaged me, or I was talking to him during the week, and he said, 4,800%. Seriously? Come on, you always go with the tabloid headlines. Well, no, I don't think they're tabloid. I think they're more clickbaity than anything. But he did make this point. And because last week's show was showing you how we had an increase, a 4,800% increase in Bing revenue simply by changing links on a page. And it wasn't an insignificant amount of revenue either. It was a few $1,000, so, better than a poke in the eye. And so this week, I thought I'd show you that client's data who rang up and said, come on, mate, you've been a bit tabloidy. So I thought, okay, we'll be less tabloidy this week. We're going to start with 184% increase in revenue on mobile phones year on year. And these are changes we made last Thursday. So we've got 3 days of data here, basically. I'm comparing it year on year because this client has a seasonal business in that it's affected by, the weather. So we have to do it year on year because, just going the previous week won't work because the weather's changing. So therefore their revenue and their data changes. So 184% increase on mobile. There's a couple of things to look at here. In that, we've only increased mobile traffic by 19%, which really is not a lot. And this site has been suffering from Google quality updates. It is a custom-built CMS, a retailer, and so it will have a lot of issues which can't easily be resolved. Things just like, canonicals, restrictive page titles, restrictive menu, and every time we want to change things, it has to go through a third-party developer, so there's extra costs and all those sorts of things. So it's a complex situation for this client. So we were looking at, organic traffic was decreasing. Someone else had taken over their AdWords. We were doing it last year. He was trying someone else, and they haven't been doing too well. So they were losing a lot of revenue all around. So he said, okay, let's stop and take a moment here and really work on just getting some revenue in. And so we went through and we looked at, we heat mapped the stuff, which is what you've got to do. And if you haven't heat mapped, there's a bunch of them out there. Crazy Egg, we use Hotjar. Hotjar does the videos as well. I think Crazy Egg does as well now, where you can actually see the video screen captures of users moving around the site and how they use the site. I don't find the videos that useful, mainly because you need to wade through a lot of videos to get any sense of, any real sample size. Like at the moment here, I'm only looking at 3-day sample size because, that's when we made the changes. So not really big at the moment, but certainly, overall, yes, 184% increase in revenue on mobiles, which is awesome. But 61% nearly revenue increase overall for the same period year on year. So right there and then for a couple of changes that I made last week, and I did spend a lot of time thinking about these changes, researching the changes, looking at the heat maps, and then making a decision. The result I thought we were going to get was about an extra 50K a month for this client. Looks like it's going to be significantly more. Looks like it's going to be about 3 or 4K a day, which would be awesome. It's going to depend on the weather and a whole bunch of other things, but the thing to look at when you're doing these changes is obviously, you want to see what the bottom line's doing, but you may have some outliers or some transactional anomalies or things that can throw the data or skew the data. So I think it's important to focus on your e-commerce conversion rate. So when I go in and have a look at Google Organic, internal error. Thanks, Google. When I go in and have a look at Google Organic, we'll just turn the Wi-Fi on and get some connectivity here. The changes to conversion rates are particularly awesome. And what I'm looking at here, I've got mobile traffic, tablet and desktop traffic, and all users. Now you can see right up, our sessions are down. As I said, organic is down on last year, and we're working hard to get that back up, but it's difficult with the quality issues that we have with the site. That being said, and they include things like speed and restrictions and all those sorts of things. That being said, revenue is up on mobile for this period year on year for, 58%, 57% and 57% overall for organic. But what is interesting is the e-commerce conversion rate. The e-commerce conversion rate is 106% up on desktop and 63% up on mobile. So we've gone from 0.64 to 1.32. I want to get that up even higher, and I think we can. I believe we can. But overall, we have doubled, 91%, 92%, the conversion rate for organic. Now, that should mean that the revenue is also going to double over time. We need a bigger sample size, of course, but these are the things that you've got to look at when it comes to your website and conversions, and some slight things that you can do for quick wins. So go back and have a look and see where else we've gained here. Primarily, it is in organic. When we go and have a look at CPC, we're not doing the CPC at the moment. You can see here the desktop is down 37%. You can see here that the e-commerce conversion rate is down 36%. But the revenue is up 97% on mobile. But look over here, we've got an extra spend over here as well. We've got 26% more traffic. So we've thrown more traffic at it. Costs are therefore higher. E-commerce conversion rate has dropped. That's not what you want to see. You want to see that e-commerce conversion rate go up. So no matter how much traffic you throw at it, it's going to keep increasing the revenue. So just thought I'd share that one with you because it's a pretty cool number, 184% on mobile. And some of these changes, and you're going to say, well, what was the change, Jim? Well, what we did is we went and had a look at what for organic, and this is why I think we're seeing bigger changes in organic rather than we're still getting big changes in direct. So direct is up as well. And so these changes have affected direct positively and also referral traffic positively, not AdWords though. And I don't know why. I haven't looked to see what's happening with their AdWords campaign because we're not looking after it. But the interesting thing is that you can make those small changes, and in this case, we looked at what are the highest traffic key phrases, and we looked at where is the prominence of those key phrases when people hit the most popular pages. And we just basically raise the prominence. We just basically put an extra link in the nav menu for that thing that people were looking for. So all we did was make it quicker and easier for users to find what they want. Okay, so we're talking user experience. Now, I haven't seen any effect on ranking since we've done this change. So you'll hear a lot of people talk about that user experience affects rankings in Google, and it does, and because user experience covers things like speed, right? But I haven't seen any changes to the rankings since we've made these UI changes, which is essentially what they are. Fairly simple UI changes, just making it easier. Obviously with this site, we've got rid of sliders, and we're looking at what is trending on a seasonal level and making sure that those things that are trending in a seasonal level are really, really easy to get to when the user hits the site on a mobile and on a desktop. And they're some of the simplest things that you can do, but you need to heat map it. You need to have a look and see where people are going. I would also recommend having a look at some of the user flow graphs inside Google Analytics. That might give you some insights as well. And also, one of the things that we're doing, and I hope to have some hard data on this over the next couple of weeks, is throwing people more into search. because when I say search, I mean site search, because for the most of the retailers that we look at, if users have gone through site search, it's usually a higher conversion rate, and sometimes it's about 3 times the conversion rate of people who don't use site search. And that could be a couple of things. They're a more active user, they're a more keen user, they're actually looking for a thing. But it also could mean that people who use site search are finding the things quicker and easier than otherwise they would through, say, the nav menu. And for some of these things that we're putting high in the nav menu, they've been difficult to get to through just going through the nav menu, which is why we're boosting them higher, because they're quite popular and people want to find them. And when they find them, and they find them quickly, they tend to buy more. Hopefully that's helpful, and we'll see you next week. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye.